Ladies and gentlemen, now that Survivor Series War Games 2024 is officially in the books, it is time to look ahead at the next WWE premium show, Saturday night's main event. And you don't have a lot of time to blink here because it's literally in just 2 weeks. Now, Saturday night's main event isn't a traditional WWE premium live event in that it isn't behind a paid wall service. In fact, it's going to be on primetime television in the United States on NBC, which means that Saturday night's main event has the opportunity to be in front of more eyeballs than the WWE has been in years. That also means that if you're not from America, you're going to have to figure out how to watch this because I fall into that category and I don't know how to watch Saturday night's main event yet. But in today's video, we're going to look at Saturday night's main event. I'm going to tell you what I think the upcoming match card could be based on contextual clues that we have following Survivor Series 2024. I'll try to give you as logical a reason as to why I'm going with these matches and why these matches make sense in my eyes. But again, I don't really understand what the format of this is going to be. Like, are there going to be promos, backstage segments? Is it just matches like a premium live event? I don't know. Either way, we'll give it our best shot. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I am fully confident that you're going to fall in love with his YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. And don't forget, if you want even more wrestling content, to come check out the Patreon, patreon.com/SantiZap. Over there, we upload about 13 to 14 extra videos every single week that never get uploaded to YouTube. I'm confident that you're going to like it if you give it 1 month. Just try it out. Link in the description, link in the pinned comment. Let's jump into the video. Let's start things off by talking about the obvious match because it's the one that's already been announced as of the making of this video, that being the likely main event for the undisputed championship between champion Cody Rhodes defending against the vengeful Kevin Owens. I'm going to be honest with you, I have a feeling that just the existence of Saturday night's main event kind of forced WWE to cannibalize a lot of the hype of Survivor Series War Games 2024 because I feel like under traditional circumstances, if Saturday night's main event didn't exist on the date that it's scheduled to be, this match was fully fledged out in terms of a feud and it was hot enough to warrant being on what's supposed to be a big 4 WWE premium live event in Survivor Series. And if you're keeping track, that's now 2 straight years that the undisputed champion has not participated at Survivor Series. Now, with this match being taken out of the Survivor Series pool and being inserted into Saturday night's main event, I obviously assume that this is going to be the one that closes the show. Now, in terms of, I guess, predictions here, in terms of what could get added, I don't really think that I can add much more than we already know because the feud's already been going for several weeks. However, there are still 2 weeks left of buildup where they could continue to have promos with one another. But in those couple of weeks, it's possible that they might add a stipulation to this match like no disqualification or an unsanctioned match because we've already seen a traditional one-on-one match between these two at Bash in Berlin was it Bash in Berlin? I'm already losing track. It was Bash in Berlin a couple of months ago. So that's really the only other wrinkle that could get added to this match, to this feud. So there's nothing really else that could be added here aside from maybe an interference from Randy Orton at the end of the match or towards the end of the match. I do foresee that happening as well, but this isn't a match predictions video. That will come closer to the show. Next up, I have a match that's basically a direct follow-up to what happened at Survivor Series War Games, that being the match between Damien Priest going up against what I hope ends up being a demon Finn Balor, because otherwise this match on paper doesn't seem very appetizing because it's a match that we've already seen in a feud that's kind of been on ice for the last couple of months. But Finn Balor being reinserted into this storyline with Finn Balor once again costing Damien Priest the World Heavyweight Championship, I do foresee this match happening, and I feel like if they're not going to give it to us within the next couple of weeks on Monday Night Raw, and I don't think that they're going to wait all the way towards on Netflix. I feel like a good place to give us this is Saturday night's main event. A potential alternate here, if Gunther does get added into the card, which I foresee that he won't because Cody's on this card and Gunther was on the last card, I feel like they're going to be kind of exclusive from one another considering these shows are only a couple of weeks apart. It is possible and it would make sense for it to be a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship between Gunther, Damien Priest, and Finn Balor so that we aren't just rehashing the same match that we've already seen a couple of months ago at Bad Blood between Damien and Finn Balor. That being said, I feel like Cody Rhodes is going to be the only world champion defending his men's championship on the show. I don't think that Gunther is going to go back to back, just 2 weeks apart between championship defenses at Survivor Series and then jumping into another one at Survivor Series War Games. But that is something that logically, based on the landscape that we have, could make sense. I already mentioned that I hope it's Demon Finn Balor, and I'm saying this because we haven't seen Demon Finn Balor since WrestleMania 39 when he had that match against Edge. And frankly, this feud just doesn't seem very appetizing unless we up the stakes, unless we change something about the narrative of this match, because I already feel like Damian Priest kind of won this feud already. And the way that we got back to this feud is by just doing a worse version of what Finn Balor had already done at SummerSlam, a less buzzworthy, less needle-moving version of what he did then. So pretty much what I'm saying is that this is a far less hype match than it was back at Bad Blood, and it's lost a lot of the steam that it had coming off the back of the crazy SummerSlam plot twist. But still, these are two main players on Monday Night Raw, and I do foresee that they're going to be featured on this show. It does make sense, even if out of all of the matches on this card that I have here, this is the one that's like the least appetizing. Next up, let's talk about factions. Let's talk about the Wyatt Six finally taking on the Final Testament. Look, I have this here because this is a fully fledged out feud. I felt like a lot of people thought that this was already worthy of Survivor Series, maybe to bring back a traditional Survivor Series elimination match, but still, we still have not had this match happen yet, and we still have yet to have the Wyatt Six on a major PLE stage. And look, the Wyatt Six are arguably, I think you could easily say, the most unique WWE characters that we have today. And this show, Saturday night's main event, is going to be in front of the most amount of eyeballs possible. So if you want to show the uniqueness of WWE characters, this is a great place to showcase the Wyatt Six. And it gives the Wyatt Six that major stage that I guess WWE has been shy to give them. I really believe that Saturday night's main event is a great place to show the world and unveil to the masses the Wyatt Six. And for a long time, I've been, let's face it, I've been a Karrion Kross detractor. I don't believe that his feuds have been particularly appetizing or very interesting, but this is one where I have to admit I'm intrigued. And Karrion Kross is one of those big factors. He is really helping carry the storyline. And if I already thought that it was worthy of being on Survivor Series War Games, I sure as shit believe that it's worthy enough of being on Saturday night's main event. The question is, what do we do here? Is it just a traditional match? Do we make this an intergender match and allow Nikki Cross and Scarlett to go at it as well? Because they've already both been physically involved against one another on Monday Night Raw. Do we make this a street fight? Do we make this a regular tag team match? What do we do here? There's a lot of things that you could do with all of these people with this type of match and this type of stage. I personally would love to see it here. Next up, let's talk about one of the matches that I originally predicted was going to happen, and I predicted it was going to happen at Survivor Series War Games, but the WWE went in a completely different direction. It's actually a match that's already been announced, and I truly believe it's a match that deserves a solid stage, not just a throwaway episode of Monday Night Raw. And I don't think that they can save this for Raw on Netflix, because that means they would have been saving it for almost 2 months at that point. That being the championship match between Io Sky and Liv Morgan for the WWE Women's World Championship. As I said, this match has already been announced. The only big downside of this is that with Rhea Ripley having pinned Liv Morgan, it's like inevitable that we're going to be getting Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley at some point for that Women's World Championship. So we're kind of already telegraphing that Liv Morgan is going to win this match. Or who knows, maybe Rhea Ripley does something, gets involved in this match and costs Liv Morgan the title and gives it to Io Sky and takes that championship away from the vacuum of a feud that is Rhea versus Liv Morgan, to help and allow the rest of the women's division grow around a champion Io Sky. Because let's face it, at this point, the Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan feud has been going on for long enough, and it's personal enough, and it involves so many different layers like Dominic Mysterio, the destruction of the Judgment Day, that it just doesn't need the world title. But I'm honestly just kind of getting ahead of myself because this isn't a predictions video on how the matches could go. This is just how my brain operates. I just firmly believe that this is a big enough match to warrant a big stage like this, especially considering that neither of the women's world titles were defended on the previous PLE. I think it's time that on a premium show, we have a women's world title match. Actually, now that I think about it, because of the Saudi event and the circumstances around this Crown Jewel Championship, this belt hasn't been defended in multiple PLEs now. I think that this will be a great match. I think Io Sky is a great showcase of the women's in-ring talent, and I think that Liv Morgan is a showcase of women's characters that WWE have developed, and together I feel like they could bring on a great show towards this giant mass audience that they're going to be performing in front of on NBC on prime time to try and bring in new women's wrestling fans or maybe lapsed wrestling fans.
There you go.
Oh my God!
You see what I mean?
That was a sneak peek of this week's Wrestling is Cool Match Club, which is exclusively available on patreon.com/SantiZap. This week, we're looking at the tag team classic that is DIY versus The Revival in a best 2 out of 3 falls at NXT TakeOver Toronto. We have a hardcore match between Shane McMahon and Steve Blackman at SummerSlam 2000. We've got real graps this week in the classic match between Bret Hart and Owen Hart at WrestleMania 10. We have a ridiculous match between Sabu and Rob Van Dam in a ladder match. And we're looking at Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania 39. You're going to get this and so much more, like the Wrestling is Cool podcast 3 days early, the Raw reviews, the SmackDown reviews, the currently ongoing Undertaker Streak watch along, the currently ongoing Royal Rumble watch along, and more. So if you're doing the math, I actually upload more on Patreon than I do on YouTube, and those are videos that will never appear on YouTube. So go check it out. It's patreon.com/SantiZap. I'm confident that if you even try for 1 month, that you're absolutely going to fall in love with it. There's hundreds of videos already up and available for you to enjoy day one. So go check it out. The link will be in the description. The link will likely also be in the pinned comment, but that's it, folks. Let's get back to the video. The circumstances of the following matchup have been confirmed. We just don't know who's going to be in the match. That being the match for the inaugural WWE United States Championship match. And I believe that it's going to be between one half of the bracket winner in Chelsea Green, and I think that the other side of the bracket, I wished it was Mia Yim Michin, but I don't think that it's going to be. I think that it's going to be Tiffany Stratton. I mostly think this because we've already gotten Chelsea Green versus Michin at a fairly high profile episode of SmackDown, and this is a match that would actually be unique and new and we haven't seen before, and it would be between two people that a lot of people want to see win big things. We've seen a little bit of jabbing back and forth between Tiffany Stratton and Chelsea Green, Chelsea Green calling Tiffany Stratton tacky time, etc., etc. So there is already a basis and a foundation for a storyline here, but we don't really need one because it's a tournament and the stakes are already high for being the inaugural United States champion. Maybe in a different alternate reality, I could see a world where it's actually a triple threat match between Chelsea Green, Tiffany Stratton, and Michin. Maybe something happens in the semifinal between Tiffany and Michin, but I think one of the locks for this match is Chelsea Green. Again, I wish that I could be convincing of myself that it's going to be Chelsea versus Michin, but I can't seem to quite convince myself on that thought. I keep leaning towards this right here. And it wouldn't be a WWE premium show here towards the end of the year without the bloodline. And I truly believe that now it's time that we get Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa for the Ula Fala to determine who truly is once and for all the tribal chief of the bloodline, who will get to sit at the head of the table. When it comes to the bloodline narrative, this is the next logical evolution, the only match that truly makes sense because we've already had everyone get involved in one match, and now it's time to bring the scale down but increase the stakes even more by making this for the Ulafala. It's possible that they could save this for the Royal Rumble, for example, but I feel like that would just be entirely way too long, and now it's the time to pull the trigger on this match right here. This also gives us the opportunity to have involvements from The Rock, other members of the Bloodline, a new member of the Bloodline. Let's not forget that Hikuleo has already been signed to the WWE. So this opens up a lot of opportunities for more Bloodline story development, which will obviously be one of the anchors for the WWE in terms of storytelling as we go into Raw Netflix, as we go into a 3-hour Friday Night SmackDown, as we go into the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania season. But with Royal Rumble being like quite late this year, with it being in the beginning of February, I just have a hard time envisioning WWE saving this match for that long. I just don't see it. So I think that they pulled the trigger on this match finally, and who knows how it ends up. Like I said, there's just so many different directions where it could go, either during the match or towards the end of the match. You know, I actually mentioned earlier in this video that I'm confident that Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens would be the main event. But now, you know, as I process all of this information, if this match is on the card and there are certain surprises that could happen, I bet that this is the one that actually closes the show. I'm also going to make some extra bonus predictions for you because this isn't a traditional WWE Premium Live event. It's a TV special, and I'm not really sure what the format is going to be. Is it just going to be only matches like a Premium Live event? Is it going to be more like an episode of Raw and SmackDown that's got segments? I don't know. So here's some extra bonus predictions. Special appearance that I have is CM Punk. I think that CM Punk will cut a promo on the show, and it could be for various reasons. It could be to challenge Gunther for a match for the World Heavyweight Championship for the first episode of Raw on Netflix. It could be calling out Seth Rollins to set up and create fuel for the feud that they're inevitably going to have going into WrestleMania. Or maybe it could be him announcing himself for the Royal Rumble. There's various reasons, but he's such a big star that you're gonna want to feature him on the show somewhere. The other one is John Cena, and I'm confident of this. This is just such a big name on such a big platform, such a recognizable face, that you're gonna want to use a John Cena to make sure that you, in front of all those eyeballs, you bring as many of those eyeballs into regular WWE TV. And with John Cena being so recognizable, to me, that's just such an obvious choice. If John Cena does have a promo on the show, I'm willing to bet that it's to announce himself as an entrant in the Royal Rumble match. And last but not least, I have The Rock appearing, whether it's his own singular promo, whether it's an appearance during the Ulafala match between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. But just like John Cena, The Rock is just such a huge household name. And when you're in front of that many households, you want to include as many of those household names. And The Rock doesn't get more household than that. All right, folks, that is my match card prediction plus extra little bonus appearance predictions for Saturday night's main event. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Get out of here.